The silent watchers, the great crystal chambers of the war registry, hummed with the voices of 1,000 different species. High above the galactic core, the massive space station called Dominion Prime served as the center of all military activity in known space. For 3,000 years, the registry had controlled every conflict, every battle, every war among the civilized worlds. Supreme Arbiter Kexter stood at the center of the main chamber, his forearms spread wide as he addressed the assembled delegates. The Vorthic leader's crystalline skin caught the light from distant stars, creating patterns that shifted with his emotions. His species had founded the war registry after their own devastating conflicts had nearly destroyed their homeworld. The quarterly war allocation has been completed, Kexter announced, his voice carrying through translation devices to hundreds of different alien minds. The hegemony of Talar may engage in limited border disputes with the Crimson Collective. Duration: 47 standard days. Casualty limit: 2 million combatants. The assembled delegates made sounds of approval. Wars had become as organized as sporting events under the registry's control. No longer did entire civilizations burn in endless conflicts. Every battle was planned, every casualty counted, every victory predetermined by careful calculation. Commander Veltan of the Ashen Fleet raised one of her 6 appendages. The insectoid warrior's mandibles clicked as she spoke. What of the new species reports from Sector 7? The ones calling themselves humans? Kexter's crystalline face showed the equivalent of amusement. The humans have been classified as non-combatant observers. Their technology is primitive, their ships are slow, and their military doctrine is chaotic. They pose no threat to established galactic order. Laughter echoed through the chamber. The idea that any species could exist without registry approval for their conflicts was absurd to most delegates. The humans had been contacted, evaluated, and dismissed as irrelevant to galactic military affairs. They have submitted no applications for conflict participation, added Datakeeper Zindel, a mechanical being whose body was more computer than flesh. Their entire military consists of patrol vessels and research ships. They have no proper warships, no organized fleet, no understanding of civilized warfare. Far from Dominion Prime, on the edge of what the registry considered civilized space, Captain Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the UHS Phoenix and stared at the smoking ruins of Research Station Alpha 7. The human outpost had been home to 300 scientists studying exotic matter. Now it was nothing but twisted metal and frozen atmosphere. Captain Chun was not what most aliens would expect from a human military officer. She was of average height, with short dark hair and steady brown eyes that missed nothing. At 35, she had served in the Colonial Defense Force for 15 years, protecting human settlements from pirates and natural disasters. She had never expected to face organized alien aggression. How many survivors? She asked her first officer, Commander David Martinez. The young man had served under Chun for 3 years and had learned to read the careful control in her voice when she was angry. 17, Martinez replied grimly. The attack was surgical. They took all the research data, all the exotic matter samples, and left the station to die slowly. The survivors say the attackers were reptilian, about 3 meters tall, with advanced energy weapons. Dr. Lisa Wong, the Phoenix's chief science officer, looked up from her analysis console. The brilliant woman had left a promising research career to serve aboard the Phoenix because she believed humanity needed to understand what lay beyond their borders. Captain, I've analyzed the weapon signatures. They match no known technology in our databases. Chief Engineer Tom Sullivan joined them on the bridge. The gruff man in his 40s had worked on every class of human ship built in the last 20 years. His weathered hands could fix anything mechanical, but his face showed the frustration of someone who had seen too much senseless destruction. The bastards were thorough, Sullivan reported. They didn't just destroy the station. They studied it first, took detailed scans of our technology, our power systems, even our life support designs. This wasn't random piracy, Captain. This was intelligence gathering. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the ship's communications officer, turned from her station. The young woman's usual cheerful demeanor had been replaced by grim determination. Captain, I've been monitoring long-range communications. This isn't the only attack. 6 human research stations have been hit in the last month. Always the same pattern. Reptilian attackers, surgical strikes, complete data theft. Chun walked to the main view screen and stared out at the stars. Somewhere among those lights were the aliens who thought humans were too primitive to matter. They were treating human settlements like laboratories, taking whatever they wanted without consequences. What's the official response from Earth Command? She asked. Martinez checked his orders. Continue normal patrol duties. Do not engage in unauthorized military action. The Colonial Council is attempting to establish diplomatic contact through proper galactic channels. Proper channels, Dr. Wong repeated with disgust. While our people are being kidnapped and killed, Chun made her decision with the same calm precision that had made her an effective officer. Tom, how are our systems holding up? The Phoenix is running better than she ever has, Sullivan replied. The new fusion reactors are giving us twice the power of our original specifications. The experimental quantum sensors are working perfectly. And the adaptive armor plating you insisted on installing has been tested beyond anything the designers imagined. Sarah, any word from the other ships in our patrol group? Lieutenant Kim nodded. The UHS Aurora and the UHS Meteor are both reporting similar attacks in their sectors. Captain Rodriguez wants to know if we're going to do something about it. Chun looked at her crew. These people had served with her through asteroid mining disputes, colonial evacuation operations, and encounters with hostile spaceborne life forms. They had never faced organized alien military forces, but they had learned to adapt to whatever the universe threw at them. Officially, we're continuing our patrol mission, she announced. Unofficially, we're going to track down whoever is attacking our people and make them regret it. The crew of the Phoenix understood. They were going to war without permission from their own government, without support from the galactic community, and without any guarantee that they would survive. But they were going to protect human civilians who had no one else to defend them. Dr. Wong activated her long-range sensors. I'm detecting energy signatures consistent with the attack patterns. Heading: Galactic coordinates 347 Mark 85. Distance: approximately 6 light-years. How long to intercept? Chun asked. At maximum burn, 18 hours, reported Navigator James Park from his station. The quiet man had guided the Phoenix through more dangerous space than any other human ship had explored. Tom, can the engines handle it? Sullivan grinned for the first time since they had found the destroyed station. Captain, these engines were built to handle anything. Let's go catch some alien raiders. The Phoenix changed course and began its pursuit. Behind them, the ruins of Research Station Alpha 7 continued to drift in the cold vacuum of space. Ahead of them waited an encounter that would change humanity's place in the galactic community forever. 18 hours later, the Phoenix dropped out of hyperspace near a small asteroid field. Hidden among the rocks was a fleet of sleek alien vessels, unlike anything in human databases. The ships looked like living creatures, all curves and organic surfaces, with energy weapons that glowed like bioluminescent organs. Zephyrian raiders? Dr. Wong identified after running the ship signatures through every database they had. They're not part of any major galactic government. Independent operators who prey on frontier settlements. How many ships? Chun asked. 12 confirmed contacts, reported Tactical Officer Michael Brown. Each one is roughly twice the size of the Phoenix. They're armed with plasma cannons energy torpedoes, and some kind of tractor beam system. Asterisk, the odds were terrible. One human ship against 12 alien raiders, with no backup coming and no way to call for help. But Captain Chun had not become the youngest ship commander in Colonial Defense Force history by backing down from impossible situations. All hands. This is the captain, she announced over the ship's communication system. We found the aliens who have been attacking our research stations. They think humans are too primitive to fight back. Let's prove them wrong. The Zephyrian commander, a 7-foot-tall reptilian being called War Leader South, watched the human ship approach on his tactical display. His species had been raiding frontier worlds for centuries, taking technology and resources from species too weak to resist. The humans were just another target in a long list of victims. One small ship, South hissed to his tactical officer. Their weapons are primitive projectile systems and basic energy beams. Their shields are barely adequate for meteor deflection. This will be amusing. A Zephyrian fleet spread out in a classic hunting formation, designed to surround and overwhelm a single target. They had used this tactic against hundreds of other species. It had never failed. But the Phoenix did not behave like any ship they had encountered before. Instead of fleeing or trying to fight from a distance, the human ship accelerated directly toward the center of the alien formation. It moved in patterns that seemed random, but somehow always kept it out of the most dangerous firing zones. Evasive maneuvers, Chun ordered calmly. Tom, give me everything the engines have. Michael, target their lead ship. Sarah, start recording everything. When this is over, I want the galaxy to see exactly what happened here. The battle began with the Zephyrians firing everything they had at the approaching human ship. Plasma cannons lit up space with deadly energy, but the Phoenix danced between the shots like a fighter pilot in an atmospheric craft. The human ship's movements were unpredictable, creative, and completely outside any tactical doctrine the aliens recognized. Impossible. War Leader Saf snarled as his weapons missed their target again and again. No ship can maneuver like that. Their inertial compensators should have failed. Their crew should be unconscious from the acceleration. The Phoenix returned fire with weapons that seemed primitive by galactic standards, but behaved in ways the Zephyrians had never encountered. Human railguns fired projectiles that changed course in mid-flight. Energy weapons pulsed with irregular patterns that overloaded alien shield harmonics. Most importantly, the human tactics were completely unpredictable. Where alien species fought according to established doctrines and honor codes, humans improvised. They used the asteroid field itself as a weapon, firing projectiles that ricocheted off rocks to hit targets from impossible angles. They employed their ship's industrial equipment as improvised weapons, using mining lasers and construction beams in ways no one had ever considered before. One by one, Zephyrian ships began to fall. Their superior technology and overwhelming numbers meant nothing against human creativity and determination. The aliens had prepared for a standard raid against a weak target. Instead, they found themselves in a chaotic battle against an enemy that refused to follow any rules they understood. War Leader South watched in amazement as his fleet was dismantled by a single human ship. These primitive beings were supposed to be non-combatants, observers who posed no threat to galactic civilization. Yet here they were, fighting with a skill and determination that impressed even a professional warrior. As his own ship began to fail under human fire, Sath sent a final message to his surviving vessels. Retreat. Send word to all Zephyrian fleets. The humans are not what they appear to be. They are dangerous. The surviving alien ships fled into hyperspace, leaving the Phoenix alone among the asteroids. Captain Chun's crew had won their first battle against organized alien forces, but they knew this was only the beginning. Word of their victory would spread, and soon the entire galaxy would know that humanity was no longer content to remain silent watchers. In the crystal chambers of Dominion Prime, alarms began to sound. The War Registry's carefully ordered universe was about to change forever. Breaking the silence, the emergency session of the War Registry had never been called with such urgency. Supreme Arbiter Kexter stood before a holographic display showing tactical data that should have been impossible. His crystalline skin had shifted to deep red patterns, indicating extreme agitation among his people. "Explain this again," he demanded, his forearms gesturing at the floating images of destroyed Zephyrian ships. A single human vessel defeated 12 experienced raiders? Data Keeper Zindal's mechanical voice carried notes of confusion that his programming was never supposed to express. "The tactical recordings are authentic, Supreme Arbiter. A human ship designated Phoenix engaged superior forces and achieved total victory. Casualties: 11 Zephyrian vessels destroyed, crew losses estimated at 4,000. Human casualties: none reported." Commander Veltan's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of distress in her species. "This contradicts all our intelligence about human military capabilities. Their weapons were listed as primitive kinetic systems and basic energy projection, yet they defeated veteran raiders," added Sector Marshal Thyman, a gaseous being whose form shifted inside his containment suit. "The Zephyrians have been successfully raiding frontier worlds for 8 centuries. They are not easily overcome." Kexter activated additional displays showing recent reports from across the galaxy. "It is not an isolated incident. Human vessels have engaged hostile forces in 17 separate encounters over the past 10 days. Victory ratio, 100%. They have destroyed pirate fleets, driven off territorial raiders, and eliminated threats that established military forces had been unwilling to confront." Assembled delegates fell silent as they absorbed this information. For 3 millennia, the War Registry had maintained peace by carefully controlling all military activities. Species were classified, conflicts were managed, and the balance of power was maintained through precise calculation. The emergence of an uncontrolled military force threatened everything they had built. "What is Earth Command's official position?" asked Arbitrator Nexville, whose species communicated through color changes across their translucent skin. "They claim no knowledge of unauthorized military operations," Zindal reported. "Human colonial leadership insists their ships are conducting routine patrol missions within their designated space. Veltan's warrior instincts made her suspicious." "They are lying. No species achieves this level of tactical success without extensive military planning and coordination. Kex." Thor made his decision with the authority of 3,000 years of galactic peace behind him. "Deploy Enforcement Fleet Alpha to human space. We will bring their leadership to Dominion Prime for proper evaluation and classification. This irregular situation will be resolved according to established protocols." Meanwhile, Captain Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the Phoenix and watched the approaching fleet of registry enforcement ships. The massive vessels looked like floating cities, each one capable of destroying entire planetary defense systems. Behind them came the flagship of Fleet Commander Jexmore, a Vorthic admiral whose crystalline form marked him as a cousin to the Supreme Arbiter. "Himself, 36 ships," reported Tactical Officer Brown, his voice carefully steady despite the overwhelming odds. "Each one is at least 5 times our mass. Energy signatures indicate weapons capable of planetary bombardment." Dr. Wong looked up from her science station with an expression of scientific fascination mixed with terror. "Captain, their technology is centuries ahead of anything in our databases. Their smallest ships carry more firepower than our entire colonial defense force." Chun nodded calmly. Over the past 10 days, she had learned to trust her crew's abilities in ways she had never imagined possible. They had faced impossible odds before and found ways to win through creativity, determination, and teamwork. Asterisk. "Tom, how are our systems?" Chief Engineer Sullivan grinned despite the approaching fleet. Better than ever, Captain. I've been making modifications based on what we learned from the Zephyrian ships. Our adaptive armor can now redistribute impact energy. Our weapon systems can adjust their harmonics in real time. And I've figured out how to overclock our reactors by 40% without melting anything important. Sarah, any communication from Earth Command? Lieutenant Kim shook her head, still maintaining communication silence. Officially, we don't exist out here. Commander Martinez stepped forward. Captain, we could run. The Phoenix is faster than those heavy cruisers. We could disappear into the outer systems and avoid this confrontation entirely. Chun looked at her first officer with the respect she had always shown for his tactical thinking. And what happens to the next human ship that encounters registry forces? What happens to the colonies that are still being raided while we hide in deep space? The answer was obvious to everyone on the bridge. Humanity had been dismissed as irrelevant by the galactic community. Their people had been attacked, their research stations destroyed, their civilians kidnapped or killed, all because no one believed humans were capable of defending themselves. Running away now would confirm every assumption the aliens had made. We fight, Chun decided. Not because we have to, but because we choose to. Fleet Commander Jexmore appeared on the Phoenix's main screen, his crystalline features showing the confidence of someone who had never lost a military engagement. His species had been enforcing galactic peace for longer than human civilization had existed. ***. Human vessel, Jexmore transmitted. You are in violation of Registry Protocol 77 Alpha. You have engaged in unauthorized military actions without proper classification or conflict approval. Surrender immediately for transportation to Dominion Prime. Counterproposal, Sean replied. Recognize humanity as a sovereign military power and withdraw your forces from our space. The alien commander's crystalline skin shifted to patterns of amazement. You cannot be serious. Your single ship against an entire enforcement fleet? Your species has been classified as non-combatant observers. You have no legal standing to make military demands. Dr. Wong stepped forward. Commander Jexmore, you're basing your classification on incomplete data. You observed our civilian vessels and colony defense platforms. You never encountered our military capabilities. Because you have no military capabilities worth noting, Jexmore replied dismissively. Your technology is primitive, your tactics are chaotic, and your understanding of civilized warfare is non-existent. Captain Chun smiled, and something in that expression made the alien commander pause. Let's test that theory. The battle began differently than any engagement in registry history. Instead of forming battle lines and exchanging fire according to established protocols, the Phoenix did something unprecedented. It broadcast a message on all frequencies, ensuring that every ship in the area could receive it. This is Captain Sarah Chun of the United Human Ship Phoenix, she announced. We are about to demonstrate why humanity deserves recognition as a galactic military power. What you are about to witness is not random violence or primitive aggression. This is human determination, creativity, and refusal to accept defeat. The Phoenix accelerated toward the center of the registry formation, moving in patterns that violated every principle of space combat doctrine. It should have been destroyed within seconds by the concentrated firepower of 36 advanced warships. Instead, it danced between enemy fire like a living thing, using the registry ship's own formations against them. Fleet Commander Jexmore watched in disbelief as his carefully coordinated battle plan fell apart. The human ship moved in ways that his tactical computers could not predict. Every time his fleet adapted to its movement patterns, the Phoenix changed its approach entirely. How are they avoiding our targeting systems? Demanded his tactical officer. Their ship is generating interference patterns that disrupt our lock-on mechanisms, came the reply. But the patterns are not random. They are creative. They change based on our responses, as if the ship itself is learning and adapting. The Phoenix was not just avoiding destruction. It was systematically dismantling the registry fleet. Human weapons that had seemed primitive were proving devastatingly effective against alien technology. Railgun projectiles punched through energy shields that should have stopped them. Energy beams pulsed at frequencies that overloaded registry defense systems. Most importantly, the human tactics were completely unpredictable. The Phoenix used its industrial equipment as weapons, deployed emergency supplies as improvised ammunition, and even used its own damaged armor plating as projectiles. Where registry doctrine called for measured responses and calculated maneuvers, humans improvised with whatever they had available. Commander Martinez coordinated the crew's efforts with precision that impressed even veteran officers. Tom, I need more power to the forward shields. Lisa, can you disrupt their sensor arrays with our scanner beams? Sarah, broadcast our tactical data to any human ships in the area. Dr. Wong discovered that registry ships had a critical weakness. Their advanced technology was designed to work together in precise harmony. When that harmony was disrupted by chaotic human tactics, entire systems began to fail. Their ships are too sophisticated, she realized. Every system depends on every other system. If we can cause enough chaos in their formation, their own technology will work against them. Chief Engineer Sullivan pushed the Phoenix beyond its design specifications, channeling power in ways that should have been impossible. I'm routing life support power through the weapon systems, he reported. We'll have about 20 minutes of air, but we'll have enough energy to take on a whole fleet. The battle became a masterclass in human adaptability versus alien superiority. The registry forces had better technology, more ships, and centuries of military experience. But the humans had something the aliens could not calculate or counter: the absolute refusal to give up when protecting something they cared about. One by one, registry ships began to withdraw from the engagement. Their commanders had never encountered an enemy that fought without regard for established rules of warfare. The human ship should have been destroyed a dozen times over, but it continued fighting with damaged systems, improvised weapons, and pure determination. Fleet Commander Jexmore found his flagship surrounded by debris from his own fleet. The human ship had not just defeated superior forces. It had made the victory look effortless. As his own ship's systems began to fail under continuous human fire, he made a decision that would change galactic history. All ships, cease fire, he ordered. Human vessel, I request permission to come aboard your ship for formal discussions. Captain Sean accepted their request, knowing that this moment would define humanity's future in the galactic community. When Jexmore materialized on the Phoenix's hangar deck, his crystalline features showed something no registry commander had ever displayed: respect for a worthy opponent. Your species has been misclassified, he admitted. The Registry Council must be informed that humanity possesses military capabilities far beyond our initial assessment. Dr. Wong stepped forward with data recordings from the battle. Commander, this is just one human ship with standard equipment. We have not used our most advanced technology or our best tactical formations. What you have seen today is simply human determination to protect our people. Jexmore studied the tactical data with growing amazement. Your crew coordination exceeds anything in registry databases. Your adaptive capabilities surpass our most advanced artificial intelligence systems. Your willingness to sacrifice for your species, ... double quotes, he paused, searching for words in his translator. It is beyond our experience. Captain, Chun looked at the alien commander with the same steady gaze she had shown throughout the battle. Commander Jexmore, humanity does not seek war with the galactic community. We seek recognition as equals who deserve the right to protect our own people. We will fight for that right if necessary, but we would prefer to earn it through demonstration rather than destruction. The registry commander nodded slowly. Captain Shun, I will personally recommend to the Supreme Arbiter that humanity be reclassified as a Tier 1 military power with full rights and responsibilities under galactic law. Your species has proven that strength comes not from superior technology or overwhelming numbers, but from unity, creativity, and the courage to stand up for what matters. As Jexmore's ship departed to carry news of humanity's capabilities to Dominion Prime, Captain Shun stood on her bridge and looked out at the stars. The galaxy would never again dismiss humans as primitive observers. They had earned their place among the civilized worlds through courage, determination, and the uniquely human refusal to accept defeat when protecting those they loved. The Phoenix set course for home, carrying with it the knowledge that humanity had finally found its voice in the galactic community. They had proven that sometimes the species everyone underestimates can surprise the universe with what they are truly capable of achieving.